So, welcome to Agents Empowering Agents. This is the first of many podcasts. So, you're going to learn, you're going to grow with us as we're on this journey. For me, what I really want to do is I want to showcase and highlight people that intrigue me and interest me in real estate. I don't just want your typical real estate agent. I want to have conversation with all walks of life. I want to have conversations with people who've been through some shit, the lessons they've learned, and what it's helped them with in their journey in real estate. And I want to take all that stuff with a whole lot of fun and entertainment included into that. And I want to share this with the rest of the world. And I don't want it to be a regular freaking conversation. I want us to get a little off, and I want us to have a little bit of fun with it. So let's get started. First guest, somebody that I admire, somebody that I feel like I chose to be in business with. I don't know, maybe he chose me. I don't know exactly. But our journeys brought us together in a kind of unlikely fashion, and we are now in business together. He's an amazing young man. I say young man because I'm much older than him right now, and I'll always be older than him. And I cherish people that have been through tough shit, that have not just have to battle basic money stuff, but have had to battle adversities in their life, who've been through things and overcome, and kind of found their gift and their place, and they're on a mission to accomplish what they want to in life. And Devon Martinez is absolutely one of those people in my life. So, Devon, that's the intro. Thank you for being my first guinea pig. I really appreciate you.
I'm glad to be here.
So, with that being started, the first thing I want to know is, first, and I'm going to put you on the spot, is when you got into real estate, when did you get in? What was the reason? And how did that work out?
Okay, yeah. So I mean, I've been in sales since I want to say 2016, 2017.
Okay.
I've been in sales since then, and I've didn't realize I had a gift in sales very much. So I was working in marketing. I was also I found out I had a thing for web design.
Okay.
So I was working for a marketing company that was kind of like an offset to like AT&T, and we were just basically marketers. We did ads and everything like that. And when I got started, I actually had a mentor in there that had a couple investment properties, and basically gave me I wanted to find out. We got close, so I found out a little bit more about him, and I found out he invested in real estate, and he had a rental portfolio, the whole shebang, and I kind of intrigued me. So I wanted to know, how can I get involved in that, right? Because my grandmother has investment properties. My father owns one other house on our piece of land back home, and I was curious. So I was like, how do you do that? And I was a guy that didn't. I've been renting my whole life. Well, renting. I was in my first apartment rental, and I no clue what to do. And he basically told me, he's like, there's this thing called wholesaling, and he gave me a couple videos on YouTube, a couple YouTube gurus, right? We know about those, and I feel like I learned a bit off of that, and then what he kind of showed me, and he helped me walk me through one of my first wholesale deals, and that was in early 2019.
2019. So we're in January 2023, by the way. So yeah. It's been 3 or 4 years now.
Yep. Okay. So moving that, I mean, I got my first deal with him, and it was a pretty hefty check. So I was pretty happy with that, and I was wanting to continue.
So what's a hefty check?
So that first one was $13,000.
So you learned some shit on YouTube.
Yeah.
A guy says you can do it. You said, heck, I can do it. You go out and make it happen.
Yep.
And how long did it take from the day you said, I'm taking action, to the day you made $13,000? About how long was that?
It was a 2-week turnaround.
Shut up.
It's 2 weeks.
No, hold on. Go back, like
okay.
when you first started looking for that wholesale deal.
So that wholesale deal I found, it happened. I actually got it on my second day of driving for dollars. I saw this property. It was falling apart.
Okay.
It was a commercial property, and I managed to just go knock on the door, and I got in touch with the guy. It belonged to his parents, but his parents were not really all there, and I worked through it, just kind of like, hey, you want to sell your property, this, that, and the other. Mm-hmm. And then my mentor helped me find a buyer on Facebook, which was very weird, but he had a couple buyers that checked it out. But I had someone on Facebook just hit me up and wanted to see it, and then he put in an offer, and it winded up being a good one, and that's kind of how it happened. So you were actually one of the people that you inquired about it, but maybe it was like a month after it already sold.
Gotcha.
Which was kind of funny. It was like the first time I ever saw your name, but we didn't talk about it.
So you're driving for dollars, you find the property, you do old school skip tracing by knocking on the door and just kind of doing your research.
Yep.
And how long did it take from the day you saw it to the day you got in contract on it?
So I got it under contract that same day.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was pushing. That
is not common.
That is not common.
Okay.
At all. Yeah,
so one day you get under contract, and 2 weeks from that day you closed.
Yep. Correct.
And you made $13,000.
$13,000 in my pocket. Yep.
So just for everybody watching, like that's not super common, but the one thing to recognize in what he did is he didn't know what the hell he was doing.
Right.
He was taking a step in a totally new direction. Number one, he came from marketing, advertising, had nothing to do with real estate, right?
No.
Okay. He said, somebody taught me something. I watched some YouTube. I took action and I made $13,000. So the lesson that I hear is stop waiting for perfection and just take action.
That's really true. And a thing I learned from that experience, right, is like it was awesome, and I was really motivated to go out there and get it. And especially when I found out the kind of money you could make on it. My personality came out when that happened, though, right? It's like it wasn't just like deal after deal after that. It didn't just go perfect after that.
Yeah.
It was my first time ever making that kind of money. So the kind of person I was like, I spent it, went through it, and then I just based like you see it a lot in the real estate industry with agents.
So it was $13,000 your part, and did your mentor take a cut?
He didn't take any cut.
He didn't take anything.
Yeah.
So you're just like, just go for it. But he helped you find the buyer.
He helped me kind of walk me through it, and
you on your side, you said you found a buyer like on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
So part of it is driving for dollars on the front end. Mm-hmm. That's what we call acquisition.
Yep.
Skip tracing, finding the owner, and then on the backside is what we call disposition. His disposition was mainly through going on local Facebook investment groups.
Yes.
Okay, and just saying, "Hey guys, I have a property," packaging the numbers, pushing it out there, and boom, you found a buyer. Mm-hmm. Okay, so there's a whole tactic right there. There's a whole way of doing business in just that conversation we just had right there, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we're moving on.
Okay.
Fast forward, you made your first $13,000. That was in 2019, roughly.
Yep.
Tell me about your next 2-3 year journey in the investment or real estate world.
So after that first deal, I sat for 3 months.
Okay.
It was just back to work. I was still working at that marketing firm, and I'm try to do little bits here, like little driving for dollars, but I kind of stretched that 13 a little bit, pretty I think I stretched out that last 3,000-4,000.
Hold on. We're talking about money. Don't lie to me. Did you buy some bullshit too?
I bought some bullshit. You know I did.
What did you buy with it?
So immediately just new furniture, going out to steak dinners every single night. It was awesome. It was good. It was a nice good. It was a good.
He moved up like George, just like that.
Yep. So, yeah. So it was bad. I thought I knew how to.
This is the truth. We try to act like I think we hear podcasts and we hear conversations and mentors and mentees and all this shit, and people act like I made my first $13,000 and I spent it on nothing but investments and building my business, and people don't tell you the truth sometimes and say, I spend it on bullshit, which happens.
Yep.
Okay, good. Yep. Man, you learned, you moved.
Yep. So, I mean, it took up until COVID happened.
Okay.
Right? 2020. That was a very crazy year for a lot of people. And when COVID happened, the business I was working for, unfortunately, had to close their doors. And they ended up moving to another state. And they offered to take along some people, and it just didn't work out for me like that. I wasn't ready to move. For personal issues, I wasn't ready to leave that my group here, and so I had to stay. And from there, I was actually really stricken with fear a little bit. I had to get unemployment, and it was very.
So let's talk about that. You said you didn't want to move because of your group. Mm-hmm. I have a feeling there's a story of struggle or something behind that. Mm-hmm. I could be completely wrong. Yeah. So, which is the next thing I really want to talk about is, rewinding and going back and talking about in this podcast, I want to make sure we're talking about real life shit. So
Okay.
that group that you didn't leave with this company for, what exactly was that group?
So it was basically my community of my recovery group. My group. I didn't want to leave the recovery I was in right then. So
Okay. Can you mind hitting? Can we hit on this? Is this cool?
Sure.
Okay. So you didn't want to leave a recovery group. You were so, I guess, your belief system and your heart was so in this group, and I guess the work you were doing or the work it was doing for you and with you, that you did not take a job opportunity in another state to stay here and be. So what brought you to the recovery group? You know, if you dig as deep as you want to into that story, and let's talk about that.
So I mean, I've had a problem with outside substances, drugs, since my early preteens, you know, and that was something I went through from you know, preteen, like 11, 12. And you know, that's tough on family, that's tough on a lot of things. I was struggling with that for a long time, right? And I came to the point where life was just, I was just dealt a bad hand. And I came to the conclusion at that around 16, 17 years old. I came to the conclusion that this is just how life's going to be for me. I'm always going to be up and down, and
from what age to what age do you feel like you adopted that thought process, that belief?
It was around 16 years old. Around 16 years old, it was like my attitude towards life, towards anything. It was just like, even if I try something, I'm always gonna fuck it up, and that's just how everything has shown beforehand. And you know, it didn't really help that I kept this going for years and years after. You know, with that mindset, you'd be, you know, I mean, I'm sure you can understand, but you know, when you're in that mindset of total just misery and everything sucks.
It's easier when you're younger, I feel, because there's so many things that your chemicals are off, everything's off, and you know, the world it kind of whips your ass.
Right.
So you're 16, you're falling into substance abuse. Is there a story or a time where you feel like was a turning point for you, like maybe rock bottom, or maybe something you saw or heard?
So I like to think, I don't ever think of a rock bottom. I always think that the bottom can always fall, and you can even get deeper than that. That's what my experience has shown me. But I can say that, like, the first time I actually saw a bit of hope, right, is I went to an AA meeting, and this was my first AA meeting where I'm not just totally messed up in the head, and I'm actually listening to what these people were saying. And I'm standing
How
in
old
front
were
of
you?
I was 21 years old.
Okay, wow. So
Yeah.
5 years of living the life.
Yep, and
Okay.
and you know, I've been to a lot of treatment centers, rehab since in that span. Like I've been in treatment centers since, you know, 17, going through this whole thing, trying to get into.
So if
trying
you
to get
don't
some
mind me
help.
asking, because you know, just conversation.
Yep.
Were you just like any drug and every drug? Do you have drugs of choice, or?
It was anything you got.
Yeah.
Anything you got.
Did you start with alcohol, hit the weed, and go cocaine binge and shit like that?
It started with weed, got into smoking cigarettes and weed, and then around 13 was the first time I ever tried cocaine, and then 15 it gets into more harder stuff, meth, and then 16, 17 get into heroin. It was you know, pretty much everything, and then
down the road, man.
Yep, and then 18, you know, I on my 18th birthday I was actually in jail for having acid and a lot of weed on me. So
that's some shit I never want to mess with acid, because I've seen bad trips and it's scary.
It was fun for a good while, but when you go on the way of doing it every week, it starts becoming a little bit like, what am I doing with my life?
Yeah.
Because I mean, if any of the viewers have ever tried that sort of thing, you know that it kind of opens your mind up to a lot of things, and it makes you look within. And at least for me, it did. I'll speak from my experience, and I wasn't doing anything with my life, so it made me feel very bad.
And if you've taken substances and stuff, which I want this to be a lesson in reality, and a lesson, you know, that maybe you can hear from us and not have to go down your path, which everybody has to take their own path. We have to figure it out on our own most of the time. Is that I know my experiences where you go on your binges and things would happen, and then I would feel depressed sometimes for like weeks. Like I would find a place where I was like, what am I doing with my life? How am I in this situation? Who are these fucking people?
Yep.
And it's a painful place to be.
Yep.
And then you tell yourself, I'm going to fix this. I'm going to get better. And then you have your binge. Mine would start with alcohol, little weed, cocaine, and then I didn't know where the fuck I was.
Right.
And it just started getting a little out of control.
Man, it's hard. It's hard with that, And when coming back to the question you asked of what the turning point was, at 21, it was the first I went to a treatment center out here. This was the first time I came out to this area, Houston, and the only reason I went through this treatment center, because like I said, I was already in that mindset that this is just the cards I was dealt, right? So the only reason I came through this treatment center, so I had been I was a week from being out of the hospital on a drug overdose. I was a month from getting out of jail. I was also on probation, and on top of all that, I was homeless. I was living in downtown San Antonio under 35 and Broadway, and I was in the hospital the week before, and my grandmother came over to the hospital and said, "Look, if you go to this treatment center that I found for you for 30 days, if you go through it, after you get out, you can come stay with me." And at that point, I was like, screw it. I just need a place to sleep at this point. And it was to the point to where I was just tired of being on the streets. And it was just, I'd been in and out of that. And, I was just tired of it. I was tired of that. I wasn't saying I didn't go into this treatment center expecting to get off dope. Yeah. That was not the goal in mind. Yeah. It was what that, and I like to give, kudos to the treatment center that took me in, because, for them to hold the accountability that they held there was a lot different than a lot of other places I've been to, and I've been to a lot of more holistic treatment centers than anything, and those weren't really for me. I know they're for other people, but they weren't for me. But when I went in there, the accountability that was held on me to do the things, put action behind my words, and really be purposeful with my. With what I want to do.
Was that a turning point?
Oh yeah. So the thing that really, and I'm going to get to right here, is this turning point was when we went to that meeting. And I sat down in the front, and I heard a gentleman tell his story. And this gentleman, I know him today. He's a good friend of mine, and it's funny, if he ever sees this, he's going to know I'm talking about him. But he was telling his story, and this guy got sober at the same time that the age that I was at that very moment, and he had been 2-3 years clean. And for the first time ever, for my whole life, I've always been told, Devon, you're a psycho. Devon, you're a drug addict. Devon, you're this. Devon, you're that. But for the first time ever, someone stood in front of a lot of people and basically said what was wrong with them, what was wrong with him. This is what's wrong with me. He didn't tell me what was wrong with me. He was telling me what was wrong with him. And I don't know, for some weird logical, I don't know how it worked out, but in my head, I understood. And I finally saw that I got a glimmer of hope for myself. Yeah. And it gave me that hope that I needed to kind of push me in that right direction. And that's kind of I've had some hiccups, obviously. They say relapse happens a lot, and I mean it's part of my story, and it's happened. But I mean, for now, I'm very happy with the amount of time I got today.
Yeah. So with that, we talked about struggle in life. We've talked about some of the work in the business. To lighten the mood, bring it a whole nother direction. What do you do for fun now?
Man, me. So I mean, I got a great life today, man. I got a fiance. I've had a son.
Good woman, keep your ass in shape.
Yeah, pretty much. And on top of that, we're huge foodies, right? I'm more of a foodie.
That goes to my next part.
So, I'm a huge food. Go ahead.
Food is part of your fun.
Yep, part of the fun.
So where would you? What kind of food do you love? What do you enjoy about food? And what are some of your favorite places in Houston to eat?
Man, my favorite food is always going to be Italian. It's always something I cook, and I love cooking at home as well. So I'll say my favorite thing. I don't really have a favorite Italian restaurant. There's not too many good ones that I can say that are out here that I'm too much of a. I love Grazia. Grazia's good. Grazia's great.
Where's Grazia in Pearland?
Yeah, Grazia.
There used to be one in Clear Lake, and they shut down.
Yeah, they shut down, and Frenchie's, of course, in Webster, I think that is. Yeah, Frenchie's in Webster.
Frenchie's Fried Chicken?
No, Frenchie's Italian. Frenchie's? It's in Webster. It's I think that's what it's called. Maybe I'm wrong. I think it's Frenchie's. Right. Yeah, but it's right there in Webster, right there off off of Nassau Bypass and
Okay.
yeah, El Camino, I think. And then my favorite place, honestly, that's nearby that me and my fiance like to go to at least like 3 times a month is Papa's Delta Blues.
Oh yeah, my
Man.
wife don't like it, but I love it.
Man, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of chain restaurants, but the fact that there's only 2 in Texas, there's one in Plano, and then there's one right here in Houston. That's
So what do you order?
Man, I always order the family feast, the one that has
shoot, it's got,
the
like,
one. It's got
ribs and all-
ribs.
yeah,
It's got everything. You know, I like to get
Do you
that
add the
huge
fried
platter.
chicken on there
I add
too?
the fried chicken on there too because that fried chicken is delicious.
It's amazing.
So it's worth every penny because you know even if we don't eat it, we usually take a group with us.
Yeah.
It's like me, her, and like we invite another couple
There's
or so.
always gonna be leftover. though.
Exactly. There's always leftovers, so it works out. It's feeds 4, so everyone gets a piece, and it's great.
It's really good barbecue. It's like I think you get brisket, maybe some pork, and they give you those big rolls.
Yeah.
They used to be free, and then now they
Now
charge you.
now
for
they charge you
them.
for
COVID changed everything.
Yeah, they found out how good they were, and
They used to have lamb.
They used to
So
have lamb, yeah.
when they had lamb, that was my wife's spot. And when they got rid of lamb, she's like, I don't like anything there anymore. So we don't go nearly as much. But if I get my choice, I'm going.
Yep.
And it's funny because I get the salad, and it's like you get 2 meats in the salad. It's really just like barbecue with some lettuce on the side.
Right.
It makes me feel good. I ordered the salad.
Yeah.
Look at me.
I won't recommend the steaks, but I do recommend the barbecue heavily. The smoke.
What's the
barbecue.
next restaurant you're going to recommend outside of Delta Blues where you think if you come to Houston, you got to eat this?
Man, I gotta recommend Perry's and Friendswood, right?
Friendswood, okay, the original.
The original
Okay.
Perry's, yeah. That pork.
The
is
pork
amazing.
chop. So
Tell
there's
them
a
about the pork
special
chop.
on Wednesdays. They have a pork chop. It's a little bit smaller than the dinner portion. It will change. It changed my life. It's completely changed my life. Made me beautiful like I am today.
Yep.
It's really damn good.
Yeah, that is the second place I would recommend to a lot of people, just because since you introduced me to that particular spot,
Yeah.
I mean we've been going nonstop.
It's a lot more cozy too.
It's nice, more personal, more intimate. It's not so loud. I like
Good
it.
deal. Okay, and you also like to cook steaks.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So I'll shout them out. Stone Cold Meats in Friendswood, League City, right on 518. It's kind of that weird spot where you don't know if it's Friendswood or League City because you know what I mean. It's that weird.
I've never
spot.
been there, but I know the area you're talking about.
Yeah. It's so right off of Bay. It's on 518 in Bay Area. So it's on the corner of that, I believe. That's the right area. I know it's on 518, but I think it's Bay Area that we're crossing. But Stone Cold Meats, I get all my meats there, and me and my fiance, we barbecue, we cook. I was actually, if real estate didn't work out, I was gonna go ahead and try out for MasterChef here in Houston.
That's
not
awesome.
Not gonna lie, man.
You should do that too.
I mean, I could, but it'd be a lot of time, and I mean,
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. We'll see. Future waits.
Stay focused. So the last question is, what is so anybody, I don't care if it's real estate in life, it can be life, it can be business. What are some nuggets or some great pieces of advice that you could drop for a human being? Maybe it's somebody in the substance abuse arena. Maybe it's just one thing you learn that really has like changed your philosophy of the way you do things, or maybe it's a business thing, like whatever. If you want to cover a few, it's up to you.
Man, one thing I could say is that you can't go through something that nobody else has gone through. You know, there's definitely there's not a particular this is only happening to me. This is because that's the mindset I was in for years. Is like no one understands how understands how I feel. You know, and it was something that I wish I found out at a much earlier age, or maybe I did, and maybe I just didn't listen. But it's a journey that I don't regret it. I don't regret it. You know, I'm glad I made it through. I'm glad I didn't die. And unfortunately, a lot of people do, and it's an unfortunate in that arena. I do like to talk on the substance abuse because it's something that means a lot to me, and that's some place that I always want to give back. And
so you've locally, I'm just cutting in here. You've been speaking at engagements about substance abuse and recovery. Yeah. So tell us what organizations that you like to shout out or you're a part of, and some places you spoke.
Yeah. So I'll keep it very. Because it's an anonymous group, right? Alcoholics Anonymous, of course, is anonymous. So I'd like to keep everyone's anonymity safe in that sense. But I mean, AA is a great thing that's helped me get my life together, and those are areas I like to give back. On top of that is always local treatment centers that that are helping anybody with substance abuse, especially free ones, the ones that don't necessarily require insurance, that they just want to help people out. You know, donating to places like that is of great importance to me because of the fact that they're helping, they're doing the dirty work and helping people for nothing.
Yeah.
And all they live off of is donations, which is insane. You know, it's
That's
like it's good to keep doors like that open, because someone like me, that, I mean, I was grateful enough to have a family that put me on their insurance when I started messing up. But I do know plenty of people that aren't as fortunate as me, and that yeah, exactly, they're not as blessed, and they don't have that sense of, they don't know what to do because they don't have that security. So giving exposure to places like that is definitely of importance to me, and I like to shout out a lot of places they're very local here to Houston, and it's like the 24-hour club, and of course the Wheelhouse, and those are places that are just really good places that I appreciate, that are out there.
So you said, rephrase that philosophy again, package it. You said, I guess, nobody struggles alone, or I don't know how exactly you said it, but, and how does that play a role in your life, and how can it help somebody else?
It plays a role in my life because of the fact that I know that I know plenty of people with the same problems that I got that I can talk to, and I know people that have dealt with the same. You're one of those people that I can talk to about same struggles that I've dealt with, and I can talk to you about it, and you can basically just listen, or consult. And that's something I'm grateful for. It's finding that group, it's finding that people, finding those people that you want to live like, right? And
that
surround yourself with the winners that are not going to judge you and put any a big thing is like, if I don't look up to you in any sort of way, like if I don't want to aspire to be something like you, I'm not going to really take advice from you. That's kind of my mantra, but I don't like to typically take advice from people that I know aren't really living that right, and aren't really living up to the dreams that I want to live, right? Okay. So that's sort of the thing. I like to surround myself with winners and surround myself with the people that are doing the stuff that I aspire to do.
Absolutely. All right. And anything else that you feel like somebody would need to know in life or business or whatever that could save them from taking too many ass whoopings?
Man, it's just trust your mentors. Get a mentor. Because I mean, going through a series of mentors in my life has been since I've gotten sober has been so like paramount to my growth, personal growth, business growth, everything, spiritual growth even, right? And all those things is having those mentors in all those arenas. It's helped excel everything. It's helped build everything up. Like, I mean, I have you as a I owe you a lot to being my mentor and helping me get out of certain ruts that I've gotten in, business wise and personal wise. So I mean, that being said, I just, any message I really got is just find the people. It's always going to be reaching out. Don't be afraid to reach out to people, because like there's open arms out there that are wanting to take people under their wing. There's people out there that want to show people what they have. There's people like you, like me, that want to give this information out to you, and they want to do it without anything in return, and that's the beauty of this.
So find a mentor that is open to sharing and helping you grow. But what you said, it kind of makes a lot of sense, that I think a lot of people don't. Make sure that mentor is living the life, like walking the walk and not just talking the talk. Because I think we can find mentors that they put out ebooks and they put out programs, and then you get to know them and you're like, hey, this doesn't quite line up. And I think that's really important. And I know for me, like, I won't mentor someone on subjects I don't know. And the reason why I love mentoring people is because it forces me to live the life and live the things that I talk about. Because if not, I become like the ultimate fraud, and I can't live like that. I got to be real with what I'm doing.
Yeah, I agree.
So in your journey of flipping houses or wholesaling and all that good stuff, what are some of the like best lessons you can teach somebody, partially in acquisitions, maybe in like the meat of flipping, and then also in disposition? Like, what are things you'd hand on to somebody that was trying to take the journey?
Man, know your numbers. That's something I learned hard lessons on multiple deals that have pretty much messed me up, right?
Okay.
Is know your numbers. And
So what I'm hearing is you probably lost your ass on some deals.
Yep.
Maybe.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay,
Lost money, lost stuff. Yep.
Talk to me about that journey. You found a property. You obviously thought the shit was a good deal because
Yeah.
you bought it.
Yeah.
And where do you feel like, was it the numbers? Was it because the market can change. We're in a situation right now with this in the last year, part of 2022, where you may have ran numbers and it was worth 300,
Yeah.
and when you go to sell it, that market's dropping. It's worth 275 or less.
Right.
I'm not saying that's what happened to you, but what things do you feel like got you to that point where you're like, I lost, and how much did you lose? And all that?
So I'll say part of it was why I got a real estate license in the beginning, right? Is
Okay.
I'll bring up a deal that you kind of know about, but this was before I even bought it, which I'm grateful that I didn't end up buying it, but it was something that I was for sure thinking this is a good deal. And at first I approached it like from the wholesale standpoint, and then I ran my numbers, and this is how I learned that I wasn't really that good at running numbers. Here I am wholesaling for almost a year, and I thought I was a beast at running my numbers, right? So I run these numbers, and then I realized later on that I don't know anything because I didn't do any further research. So this property, I got it under contract at a certain price, and then I was like, wow, the ARV is so amazing.
I think I remember. What kind of property was it?
It was a 2-story house in League City.
I thought it was
yeah.
a
No, so
trailer. Okay,
yeah. So we went ahead and went through the process, and I even went through as getting hard money involved and everything like that.
So what lender did you use?
I used the one you sent
So that was
me.
John.
Yeah,
right?
it was
Okay,
John
so
Burns.
You used John Burns, great guy, good friend of ours.
Rosegate Corp. Yep.
Okay.
And I used him, and we went through the process, and man, that process was so ugly, and we ended up. It took forever to get payoff. First off. And then by the time we got payoff, we found out that they owed way more than what I previously assumed. And I just took their word for it, for what they, and this is when I learned not to necessarily take the words of certain sellers, like the investment deals that we look at. That's typically sellers in that sense. They don't want to disclose too much about it, but they owed a lot more than what we expected.
Honest, sometimes they're just going to lie to your ass.
Yeah. Or sometimes they're just going to lie to you, right? So they owed a lot more than what we expected. And unfortunately, I didn't have the overhead to cover it at that time. And I feel like I feel like
you couldn't back out of that thing?
I did
Okay.
back out. But what ended up happening was that John winded up buying the deal.
Oh, crap.
Yeah. So, I guess, maybe I couldn't back out of the deal.
So he took the loss?
I don't know if he took, and we never got to discussing exactly what happened after the fact.
Okay.
But he winded up buying the deal off me and paying me off as a wholesaler. But
So you made a few dollars on it?
Kind of, sort of. So I actually pulled out an additional loan on the side to help me with certain things that I was going to do.
Ah, okay.
So that loan, actually, I actually recently just paid it off.
Okay. Yeah.
And that was about
Okay.
2.5 years ago.
So movement of money, right?
Yep.
At least okay, if you would have taken that loan and you would have bought the property, there's a good chance you probably would have lost your ass.
Oh, yeah. No, I
okay.
would have lost
So
it.
you took an exit strategy. So this is sometimes investors get in and they're so freaking proud.
Yep.
Or they want to be right, or they want to feel like I'm an investor and I want to tell people I'm an investor, that they'll walk their happy ass into a deal and they won't ever walk out. Like they won't take an exit strategy that's proper for them.
Right.
And they'll just ride that shit right over the cliff.
Yep.
And you chose to say, I'm going to exit before this becomes too dangerous for me.
Right.
Okay. You cut some of your losses, took some of whatever your collateral damages, you limited that.
Yep.
And you had a business partner, which you had met through me, that was able to kind of open you up to that opportunity.
Right.
Okay.
And I think I hope it worked out for him. I know he got it. He got rid of it.
Yeah.
I think he rented it out or he sold it to somebody. But I hope he made
What
it
I
out.
will tell
pretty
you
good.
is, knowing John Burns, he's a very smart man.
Yep.
He knows money and numbers very well. He knows how to protect himself. I'm not saying he could never lose, but I'm willing to bet he won on that deal somehow.
Yeah. I'm sure there was a way he found out.
Yeah.
I don't think he would have bought it if that was the case.
Okay.
So I think he saw something that I didn't see at that time. But yeah, that was definitely a deal that I could have definitely effed myself on. As far as right now, we've got some things that I haven't actually bought in a deal that I've drowned in just yet. So maybe maybe that'll come with time. I know there's mistakes, but I feel like like learning from people like you, like Mike, like a lot of people that are in this industry that I'm grateful to be around, that have been through the trenches and been through the shit to be able to teach and learn. And I feel like that's a good reason why I haven't fell into that place yet.
Totally getting your ass
you know
kicked,
yeah
okay.
Exactly. Like I feel it may happen because I'm a stubborn asshole, right? So there's a good possibility I'll think like, oh, Ozzy says this, but I don't know, I'm gonna go with it anyways, right?
So right now you're in a deal with Veery, who's another person on the team. You found that deal through, where'd that one come from?
It was just it was found through I post a lot on Facebook.
Okay.
I also it was a sphere.
And who
sphere
helped you
of
finance that deal?
John Burns.
John Burns. Okay,
yeah, John Burns.
This is the deal, guys. Is like you'll get into business with some mentors and mentor programs, and I'm not saying they're right or wrong, but they'll try to nickel and dime you all along the way. So they'll try to charge you points on the loan by using the lender they connected you with.
Right.
They'll try to like keep you from getting into business with other people and organizations, or they'll try to nickel and dime you there. When you get in business with people that really want you to win, it's like, man, my resources are your resources. Like, use them and freaking win, man. And just be careful of mentors or programs that are the full package, that are trying to fund you the loan, find you the property. They're making money off the wholesale. They're making points on the loan. They're making points everywhere. Maybe they even line up your contractors and charge a percentage on that.
Yep.
Just be very careful with that, because I'm not saying that's not a winning strategy, and I'm not saying you can't make money on all ends of that. But dang, man, if you're taking bits and pieces of everything, you're chopping $10,000, $20,000 out of the pocket of the person you're supposed to be growing and mentoring.
Right.
And it just doesn't feel right all the time. And just be careful of that type of thing. But I'm glad. I love seeing you. I love seeing people in all of our organizations connecting and working and trading deals and buying stuff. And like, it's like this ecosystem of abundance.
Yep.
Where the leader, not the leaders or the leader, or nobody's getting in the way of progress. Correct. You know, I want to help as much as I can and not let you guys get yourself screwed.
Right.
But I also want to let you be free to say, hey, make some business moves and see what happens.
And that's what we feel like we're doing right now. You know, it's not like, this deal that we got, we did it purely on our own, and we're just kind of every now and then just kind of letting you know, hey, this is what's going on. And if it wasn't for you introducing me to John Burns, I don't know what. I'm grateful to have the business relationship we have today. That's
he owes me a lot for all the business I've given. No, I'm just joking. He's cool. It's all good. He's a great friend guy. He's funded me on a lot of deals. Any nuggets in the flip world that you would drop to somebody to say like, hey man, this is some golden advice you got to take?
Man, it's always gonna be knowing your numbers. And if you are not a licensed real estate agent with access to the MLS, I would say definitely get with an agent and have them be your not necessarily business partner. You got to cut them in on the deal. All I would say is get somebody that has access to this data that you will need in order to run your numbers correctly. That's definitely one I could honestly say.
Data is key.
Data is definitely key.
I don't think you could ever have too much data. And
I feel like as an investor, having a real estate agent in your pocket is very vital, because you have access to market trends. You have access to mortgage lenders. You have access to pretty much the whole thing.
If you get the right real estate agent.
If you get the right real estate agent.
There's a lot of real estate agents that don't know crap about investing. They couldn't tell you anything about hard money. They don't know how to run ARVs properly. They don't know markets. They don't understand construction cost. There's so many investors or agents that I talk to that have no idea about the investment world. And it's kind of sad.
Yep.
I believe, you were in wholesaling, and I told you, I believe you should get your license. I think every wholesaler should get their license that can. Some people can't. And the main reason is because if the wholesale world becomes under fire, like it's becoming under fire on a daily basis now that we see, you better believe that the powers that be, Texas Real Estate Commission or whatever commission, is going to start dropping some laws and some guidelines that are going to handcuff wholesalers, and you need to have another strategy.
Right.
Because if you look at it, like, people that wanted to owner finance properties, they create this rule that says if you're owner financing more than, I think, 5 or 6 properties, I could be wrong, don't quote me, that's a disclaimer, that you have to get your mortgage license.
Yep.
And I believe they're going to start doing similar things for wholesalers. So I've been advising wholesalers, you may just want to get your license, and it doesn't hurt. It's another opportunity for you to serve people, give somebody an option, and not leave money on the table. Mm-hmm. So it's not a bad thing. And that's what you did. And we still, in a very legitimate way, work in the wholesale world. We make sure the clients are educated. We make sure the people that we're buying properties with are educated. And we stay away from crooked deals and weird deals. Mm-hmm. But knowing numbers and having a good agent or getting your license and becoming that good agent it's a must. Yep. Now, it doesn't mean that even the best agents don't run crappy numbers sometimes or do not see something that gave a totally different ARV and kind of screwed everything up.
Right.
But more seasoned veteran agents can dig into the numbers better and alleviate, if not eliminate, the opportunity for getting your ass handed to you. Mm-hmm. Okay. So we're good?
We're good.
Anything else you want to drop?
No, I think we're all good. Thank you
I appreciate you, man. We had fun today. I like this. We're rolling now. So, yeah, guys, Devon Martinez, he's a part of the AskOzzy.com real estate team. He's our lead ISA. He runs a team of very successful cold callers and lead conversion experts. He's a wholesaler. He's a flipper. He's an investor. He does so many different things. And he's also a really great guy to have on your side when it comes to support in the addiction world and things like that. When it comes to recovery, when it comes to recognizing that we are not alone, we're all struggling, and when you find somebody that understands you, doesn't judge you, and wants to help you, it can absolutely change your life. And you've been an example for me, and I'm super proud of you, and I'm honored to be in business with you.
Same here.
And I can't wait to put this video out for everybody to see.
All right.
Let's go.
Let's go.